I'm going to share this piece I wrote. It's called Person I Am. I haven't seen my mother since the summer of 2020. And what I'm afraid of is that when I see my mother again, the mask will be refastened. It's not a literal mask, of course. It's not as if it clips to my forehead and chin. No, it attaches to my soul, my essence, and it's concave, repressive. Like when I was a kid and my mother showed me how to scoop my great-grandmother's mashed potatoes onto my plate, and then with the back of the spoon, she would make room for, I guess you'd call it a gravy lake. Except where she pressed it in on me, well, it's still empty, blank. Not that I haven't tried to refill it in so many ways, but with nothing of substance, nothing which stays. Everything I've attempted to put into this place seems to just evaporate except for hate, which forms the base for the mask on my heart's face. And although this mask is hard like a cast, it doesn't heal the break. It only softens the arterial muscle to something like foam or like a pillow. But I can't let anybody know because they will only use it to rest their weary bones before they go. So I can either be fake and pretend it's hard like chrome, or I can just be alone. Then I know it will be safe from everything the devil brings up from below. Or I can chase any fantasy which enters my brain, whatever I have to do to never go home and hear her speak a dead name. It's become a phrase which follows me day after day, like Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, and that reference just opened up the ornate French doors to so many metaphors, because in that movie there's masks and mothers and lakes. But I don't want to get swept away in that current because I've become bored navigating those waves. I've tried too many times to win by avoiding making honest claims, and I've lost that game so many times I'm not going to play. Instead, I'll say, it hurts to be me. Openly. With exposed vulnerabilities, with these strange deformities, this mouth, these cheeks, the weird way my arms crawl out of my sleeves, the odd way my legs hang from my body dangling, only held in place by my broken knees. I feel misshapen and weak, so when I speak, it isn't without the degree of objectivity. In fact, it's almost exclusively from the perspective of everybody I've ever seen, or rather everyone who has seen me, each converged into a single human being, some unconscious identity I created to look down on me like a god. And when I stumble, they don't spare the rod. Identity is indeed a real thing. From one moment to the next, I can't be anybody, and I get lost trying to find me, as if I don't exist, as if the measurements of this planet are off by just an inch, and I'm only ever kind of the person I should have been. I was conceived under duress, under notions of overexposed family portraits, like there's too much light on the surface, but the truth is heavier, more dense. I even missed the pummeling of fists, because that's at least a form of affection. And if I squeeze tightly my eyelids, I swear one knuckle lingered a second, and it almost felt like a caress. I need this. It's good for me to have discipline. It's good for me to believe I'm not worthy of anything. It's good to have accountability and grace. I am split, which makes me something like divinity, like a god am I, equally divided between machismo and femininity, between the known and unknown, between life and death and infinity, between the material and the spiritual, between knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and underreaction to this world and all of its glorious attractions. And I want to imagine my mother mother is under some kind of spell, like she's merely being operated by some kind of magic, a sorcerer's contraption, then I can believe she's no longer tied to everything I hate about myself. And that would be freedom resplendent, not just for a fleeting moment of self-love, but the will of commitment to produce the purest version of me without the hindrance of everything else I could be floating above. I'm only ever going to be the person my mother made me, even if the person I am isn't exactly the man she dreamed I'd become. Thank you all so much.